But can you tell me a little bit about the character? Tell me about the Colonel.
The Colonel is quite a delicious character. He's been scarred by Kate Bosworth's character. He's had oil spilt on his face, hot boiling oil, which has scarred him, but also scarred his heart, and he's become obsessed in a sort of romantic, odd way, and he wears a mask, and he's quite a vain, compulsive, obsessive character who's phobic and doesn't like dirty things. Yet he lives in this sort of dust bowl of a place, and he's quite arrogant, but also romantic in an odd way. And he has a certain love for Kate's character who did this.
You've been getting a lot of bad guy roles lately. Is that a place where you ever saw you? I mean, first of all, do you pause and say, why is everyone seeing me as a bad guy? Or not everyone, clearly. I mean, you've got other roles too. But is that a place where you saw yourself being, winding up in, these kind of roles? I mean, they're usually the most fun roles, aren't they?
They're fun. There's no doubt about it, and they're complex and have sort of interesting sides to them. I mean, I like to pull out a scalpel and cut them up and prod their organs and see what it is that makes them feel, and there are a few little keys into them, and then you finally discover that they're not villains, that they're perfectly sound of mind in a psychotic way sometimes, but to them it all makes sense. Right. And if you can convey that with a certain amount of conviction, then sometimes the bad guy's all the more chilling.
Some stuff online, which of course never lies. But in any case, you talked about the family business. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean,
visiting my father on film sets, like when I visited him on Man Would Be King, in the Atlas Mountains in Morocco, and I got to hang out with the Blue people, a tribe, and having that kind of adventurous childhood, visiting people like my father on a story by Kipling, Sean Connery and Michael Caine, and these for me are giants and a boy's dream. And it's that sense of adventure, really, which is what I'm always after. If a film takes me to another country, or if I'm able to explore another culture, I'm really, really excited about it. But primarily, it's the art of story.
Yes, yeah, I mean, I'm such a huge fan of your work as well as just your father's work, and he strikes me in what I've read as just a really sort of a man's man, and this, I mean, he's an adventurer, he's a boxer, and he fought in the wars, but his filmmaking style has such an elegance to it. There's not a sense of bravado. There's such a sleek sort of elegance, and there's not a lot of whoosh with the camera and this and that. Just tell the story. Correct. I'm wondering, is there a side of him that, that's that side of him that in his film work that we didn't see as much as fans? I mean, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
He was, he was a wonderful painter. He loved to spend time on his own. He was a quiet man in private. He was, and if you think about his films, really they're breaking down the macho man. Okay.
So
most of his films, the main character, the main male character, is broken down, and because of some wonderfully ironic failure, he's got to get back on his feet again, and fight his way back into some sort of normality for himself, and that's the hero that my father has. If you think about the Misfits or the Treasure of Sierra Madre, if you think about other less popular films like Reflections in a Golden Eye, Marlon Brando breaking down, crying, hitting his horse, Mostly what he does is he breaks these men down before our very eyes, and discovers their femininity, not their weakness, but their sensitivity, and then they're kind of reborn again, and they understand the irony that fate has played on them, and they can truly become.
Do you have a favorite film of your father's?
Of my father's?
Yeah.
I do. It's a great film, and it's Treasure of the Sierra Madre. One of the reasons is also an emotional one, and that is both my grandfather and my father directed my grandfather in it, and my grandfather and my father both won an Oscar for it. So that's a film I never knew my grandfather. I never met my grandfather, so I got to know him through films that my father would show me on a noisy projector in Ireland, and it's kind of our own little family album. These sort of scratchy prints.
Thank you so much, sir. Much obliged.
Thank you.
Good luck with it all.